Good Morning Emerson. Today is Thursday, October 10th, and Donovan Birch of Eagle, Emerson's Alliance for Gays, Lesbians, and Everyone, will be here to chat about a little something called Dragtoberfest.
And later, the Sox are in, but who are they going to play? Maggie, Mike, and I will give you our thoughts.
I'm Maggie Morlath.
And I'm Anthony Chase. Welcome to Good Morning Emerson.
So now we're getting into fall, and there's a chill in the air, but it's going to be spicy hot in studio. Sharon Johnson is here. We'll be making pico de gallo and queso dip.
Definitely looking forward to getting my day started off on the spicy side, but later there's also something that we want to talk about, a new movie that when I first saw the previews didn't look like much, but now the reviews have just been spectacular, so Christian is going to talk to us about Gravity.
Yeah, can't stop hearing about that one. It's definitely making national news, but making local news is the recent bus driver strike in Boston that occurred earlier this week.
That's right. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have a bus and I was an elementary school student. We're going to get Brittany's input on that news situation, but it's time to actually get reacquainted with the news, so here's Brittany with the latest.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Brittany Gervais with this week's top headlines. Businesses facing the 9th day of the shutdown are pressuring Congress to reopen the government. Strong business group supporters like Koch Industries are now stopping their support in an attempt to force Congress to make some decisions. Republican and Democrat leaders met at noon yesterday to discuss their options. No solution yet, but good news for Democrats. Looks like some top Republicans are moving away from defunding Obamacare, leaving room open for negotiations. One thing is for sure, though, Congress has to come up with some kind of decision by October 17th, the government's deadline before we go into default. Republicans are set to meet with President Obama later today. In local news, Boston public school bus drivers were back behind the wheel Wednesday morning, but nothing's been resolved yet. Attorney for the United Steelworkers Union, Patrick Bryant, ordered drivers to go back to work Wednesday. He says the strike wasn't led by the union, but actually by a group of rogue workers. Mayor Thomas Menino was outraged by the strike and vowed to punish those responsible. 600 bus drivers across the city went on strike unexpectedly Tuesday morning, leaving many parents unable to take their children to school. 33,000 children were stranded waiting at their bus stops. The school department says attendance was down by 10% on Tuesday. An undercover New York Police Department officer was charged for his role in the Manhattan biker gang beatdown. Wojciech Braskok traded his biker helmet for handcuffs, propounding on a stopped SUV as the driver hid inside with his wife and 2-year-old girl. The officer originally lied about his involvement until a video of the incident revealed what actually happened. Then the 10-year veteran cop did surrender. The biker gang chased this SUV on September 29th after a traffic altercation where the car ran over one of the bikers, paralyzing him for life. Even though former mayoral candidate Charlotte Goler Ritchie is out of the race, she could actually tip the scales. Former candidates Felix Arroyo and John Bears gave their support for candidate Marty Walsh, which was a huge victory for the Dorchester native. Now it's Ritchie's turn. 7 points separate Walsh and Connolly. Ritchie's support could either even up this race or make the winner even more clear. Ritchie says her and Walsh actually live 5 minutes away from each other and remain close friends, but she's also a big fan of Mayor Menino, who's leaning towards Connolly. Now that's all the news I have for you guys. Back to you on the couch.
Brittany, talk about these Boston bus drivers going on strike without any warning to the schools. Was this a good decision on their part?
Well, in terms of strategy, it definitely got them to the negotiating table a lot faster than they would have gotten if they had gone through the union. They might have had to wait a couple weeks. But in terms of actually getting their message across, I don't think they're going to be taken too seriously now. Mayor Thomas Menino actually called it an illegal action. So, they might not get everything done that they wanted to, have done with their negotiations. This could have backfired for them.
Now, with that burning question in Congress, with Republicans seemingly backing down from Obamacare, do you think that a solution will be reached soon?
Up until now, both political parties have been super strict about what they want from these negotiations. This is the first time I've seen either party kind of back off a little bit. So by backing off, this could, open up some negotiations, some discussion going on in Congress. Maybe they can actually come up with a solution before the week's end. That's when the deadline hits.
Thanks, Brittany.
Now with this long Columbus Day weekend coming up, we hope that you get a chance to get outside, have some fall fun. Especially for our weather correspondent, Mal Meyer, because it is his birthday today, so we're hoping it's looking good for you, Mal. Happy birthday! How is the weather, actually?
Thanks, Anthony and Maggie. And yeah, my birthday is going to be pretty cool out today. Yeah, that's right. The weather will be similar to yesterday's. However, it will be pretty cloudy and windy for most of the days, so dress in layers. High of only 62 degrees, but it will feel cooler than that. By tonight, the temperature will drop down to about 51 and wind speeds picking up with a slight chance of rain. Now let's take a look at your weekend and 5-day weather forecast. Not much of a change in the forecast tomorrow. High of 64 degrees and wind gusts up to 11 miles per hour. And if you're heading out at night, it's going to get down to 53 with winds reaching 9 miles per hour. The sun will come back out on Saturday with highs around 64 degrees. By night, the clouds will roll back in with a low of 54. Sunday, partially cloudy with a high of 63, low of 54 degrees. And Columbus Day will almost be exactly the same. That does it for Boston's 5-day weather forecast. I'm Mal Meyer. Have a good Columbus Day.
Thanks, Mal. Now we're joined by Donovan Birch, the treasurer of Eagle.
That's Emerson Alliance of Gays, Lesbians, and Everyone. Donovan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. How are you guys?
Awesome. So we hear a lot about Dragtoberfest. There's definitely a buzz around on campus. Can you tell us a little bit more about what this event will entail?
Yes, so Dragtoberfest is actually the kickoff of our programming for LGBTQ History Month. And we're kicking it off with Dragtoberfest because it's a fun way to do things. And it's going to be a competition where Emerson students dress up in drag and compete for the crown, who's going to be the queen of Dragtoberfest. So yeah.
I also hear you guys have a big host for that, right?
Yes.
Somebody that's not an Emerson student, but
Right.
famous in Boston, too,
Right. Yes, her name is Sophia Cristal. She's a famous drag queen here in the city of Boston. She performs everywhere. She is fierce. I'm telling you guys, she is going to put on a show. It's going to be something you don't want to miss.
I definitely want to check it out. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the students prepare for the event? Do they do their own makeup? Do people help them?
Yes. So students prepare for Dragtoberfest, one by going to a makeup workshop that's led by Sophia Cristal, and that was actually last night. And so if you want to see pictures of that, check out the Eagle Facebook page. Also, then they go costume shopping, and then they put on performances, and then they also do an audition where they come and tell us what their idea for their performance is, and we kind of check off on it and whether we think it would be good or not.
That would be such a challenge for me to try to do my own hair, especially if you don't have that much experience with it.
Yes, no, I totally agree. I remember the year that I actually did it, I was nervous. I still can't do my own makeup to this day. I had to bring in some girls to help me. So
past winner over here, by the way. But can we talk about Eagle a little bit, because it is a great organization. How do you feel that it's been represented or accepted in the Emerson community?
I definitely think that Eagle has been definitely accepted here on the Emerson community. I think that because Emerson is a very gay-friendly school, we don't have the same struggles as other campuses do. But one of the things that we really want to focus on is trans awareness and trans rights and things like that, because that's something that's not often talked about. And they're a community in the LGBTQIA spectrum that often gets left out.
Excellent.
So as Anthony said, you've been very involved with Dragtoberfest for years. What's your favorite part?
My favorite part of Dragtoberfest is the head-to-head part. So we always pick the top 2 finalists, and they have to go head-to-head, whether it be lip-syncing or dancing. So I'm excited to see what that's going to be this year and who's going to be in it. You never know, so I know that's my excitement.
How many years has it been going on? It's been a while now,
It's been a very, very, very long time. I can't tell you the exact history, but I know ever since that I've been here, yes.
Awesome. Well, when and where can we find this?
You can definitely find it tomorrow, Friday night, 7 p.m. in the Cabaret.
All right, we will be there. That sounds awesome, Donovan. We're so excited for that event. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk about how Sox fans are reaching out for a big series win.
Welcome back to Good Morning Emerson.
So we wanted to take a moment to talk about this Red Sox team who is in the American League Championship Series now, one step away from the World Series. Does it feel the same as it has in the past years for fans?
You know what? In Boston, we have a lot of diehard fans, definitely people who are true and loyal to their teams, especially when it comes to Red Sox baseball.
Exactly. And when our generation was growing up, we had a team. Just in this past decade, every single major sports team has won the championship in their sport. So do you think we're sort of getting away from that diehard passion, or do you think it's still there, Maggie?
You know what? I really think it's still there because these are fans who have stuck with these teams through all of the years when they were underdogs. They had so many losing streaks, and supposedly, the Red Sox were cursed for a while. So these are also superstitious fans as well. I like to think about one of my favorite movies, Silver Linings Playbook, which I think really accurately describes the superstition of sports fans. And Red Sox fans are definitely considered in that category.
Exactly. You just saw footage from 2004 when the fans were actually rioting in the streets. But we talk about last year when the Red Sox were actually not anything near where they are this year. And the fans sort of dropped off. Attendance was down. You know, they weren't where they wanted to be. Do you think 1 year can really turn that around?
I think so. I mean, I think, you know, this year they're making another comeback. And I also like to think that we're Boston strong this year. You know, it's giving something, some more hope to the Boston community.
Exactly. Boston strong. They have it on the field, actually. They're really sort of trying to rally around that. And I think that's going to make it an interesting playoff series. You know, it's funny because you have that first round. We've got past the first round. Baseball playoffs are short, so now there's 2 more rounds. I think it's really going to pick up, and you're really going to see Red Sox fever, if you'll let me say
A little
that.
fever pitch, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, Maggie doesn't care. She's a New York fan anyway.
It's true. Woke up, was brought up in a fan of, with fans of the Yankees
I'm
and the
giving
Giants.
you the fever right now, Maggie. But anyway, we've talked about those Boston fans. It's time to hear about the facts from the teams. Here's more from Mike Cantalupo.
Sweet Caroline. Thanks for the assist, guys. The Red Sox are headed to the ALCS. After finishing off the regular season with the American League's best record, the Sox took Game 4 of the Division Series 3-1 over the Rays. For the Rays, it's na-na-na-na, hey, hey, hey. Goodbye to their 2013 season, but the Sox campaign will continue. The question is now, who will they match up against? The series that will answer that question has been a great one so far, with the Tigers staying alive and taking Game 4 by the score of 8-6. This ALDS matchup is now tied. The 5th and final game will take place tonight in Oakland, when Tigers ace Justin Verlander will duel against rookie Sonny Gray. Whoever comes out on top of tonight's game will head to Fenway on Saturday for Game 1 of the ALCS. Now, looking at the National League, we already know the Dodgers have punched their ticket into the championship series, but last night we found out who would join them. It's the Pirates versus the Cardinals. We take it to the bottom of the second here. That's David Freese takes Garrett Cole deep. That's a 2-run home run, puts the Cards up 2-0. Bottom of the 8th here, another 2-run home run. This time it's Matt Adams off Mark Mallison. And then we take it to the top of the 9th, 2 outs. Adam Wainwright, he got him. The Cardinals are heading to the NLCS. St. Louis rejoice. Your team is great. With so much baseball, it's easy to forget the Patriots have been without their star tight end all season. But guess who's back? It's Gronk. Multiple news outlets are projecting that Gronk will be back this Sunday for the Pats, which is going to be a huge addition against a very tough, undefeated Saints team. Now, as one star returns, another one goes down. As if the Atlanta Falcons haven't had a rough enough start to their season, the Falcons medical staff has released that Julio Jones is likely to miss the rest of the season with a broken foot, an injury which occurred in the Falcons' Monday night loss to the Jets. Jones was on pace to have probably his best season yet. In his 5 games this season, he had 580 yards, good enough for second in the NFL. This is a major loss for the Falcons and the NFL as a whole. Now that's all I have for sports. Back to you two.
Thanks, Mike. So heading back to baseball, with the A's and the Tigers series being decided tonight, who do you think the Sox are going to be matched up against in the ALCS?
Well, I think that the Red Sox would match up best against the Tigers, and here's why. Miguel Cabrera hasn't been the same player since his injury. I think that the Tigers' offense is lacking right now, and I think that the Red Sox will be able to take them down. And I also don't want the Red Sox to be able to have to travel to the West Coast game in and game out. I think that's a really tough travel to have to make.
Well, Mike, I actually think that Oakland would be a fun matchup. I think the A's really want to make a money ball, too. But anyway, let's talk Bruins. They've started 2-0. It's early yet, but what's the key to this success so far?
I mean, it's all about their young players. It's all about, they're picking up where they left off. Sure, in the Stanley Cup, We try to forget what happened, but they're still playing with that playoff mentality. They start off 2-0. Their power plays have increased dramatically. They're so much better with the power play. I think they're overall just looking like a great team, ready to make a Stanley Cup run yet again.
I like that, Mike. You can stick with those thoughts all you want. Thank you.
As we talked about earlier, there's a movie with a lot of buzz right now featuring, just a little name, George Clooney, and another little name, Sandra Bullock. Can we hear a little bit more about that from you, Christian?
I'm Christian Mudrick, getting you the scoop on the entertainment world. Kanye West's latest debacle has resulted in a court-delivered restraining order. A few months ago, the artist attacked a photographer in the LAX airport. The photographer, David Ramos, pressed charges saying that he was left with physical and nervous pain and suffering. West was ordered by the court to keep a 10-yard distance from Ramos. According to West's lawyer, Ramos had been stalking and harassing Kanye, and she feared that he would continue to do so. When asked to maintain a safe distance from West, all Ramos had to say was no comment. Looks like we may be hearing more from this story in weeks to come. The highly anticipated Gravity rocketed to a record-breaking debut this past weekend. Alfonso Cuarón's 3D masterpiece hit theaters last weekend and immediately raised the bar. It made $55.6 million, establishing it as the highest-grossing box office release in October. Gravity soared past Paranormal Activity 3, which released in 2011, grossing $52.6 million. This is due to Warner Brothers' substantial and stellar marketing for the movie, as well as the high quality of the entertainment. Interesting fact, 80% of the movie's income was from 3D ticket sales, proving that 3D movies are in fact not a dying fad, but most likely here to stay. From being brutalized by her boyfriend to being brutalized by paparazzi and fans, Rihanna has finally said enough is enough. Rihanna has decided to move out of her $12 million home in the Palisades. Apparently, she hasn't even been living there for the past 2 months after a stalker had been found trespassing on the premises over the summer. Moving trucks were spotted outside the home on Tuesday. Rihanna has been burglarized, stalked, and attacked on her luxurious property. She told TMZ that she will be buying another home in LA, but will spend most of her time in New York. Spread the word, Rihanna has left the building. She has decided not to stay. Anyway, Lindsay Lohan may have fallen back off the wagon. She was spotted a week ago around 1 a.m. at the Dream Hotel, the same hotel where she was arrested for a hit and run. She was hanging around her friend, Vikram Chatwell, who she swears is just a recovery buddy that will help her stay clean. But saying Chatwell, who has a dirtier drug history than Lohan, will help her stay off the wagon is like saying Paula Deen should be the personal chef for my diabetic mother. Let's do the math. A sketchy hotel, a sketchy friend at a sketchy time. Is it just me, or does it seem like Janice Ian isn't the only one talking about crack? That's all the juicy gossip I have for you today. Back to you guys on the couch.
Thanks so much, Christian. Now, do you think that Kanye West is going to return to his aggressive ways anytime soon?
Yes, he's actually known for his aggressive behavior, and actually the prosecution asked that he take anger management classes, and the judge just scoffed and said, no, because he probably knows it's gonna happen again. One of his most famous problems was when he blatantly and publicly humiliated Taylor Swift at the VMAs, and I think we all remember that, so we should be seeing him again in the news probably soon.
You wouldn't mind that. She's a big Kanye fan anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Christian. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Sharon Johnson will share some Southern hospitality, cooking up a delicious snack. Stick around.
Welcome back to the show. Sharon Johnson is in studio preparing a cheesy delight that anyone can make. Sharon, what do you have cooking in the kitchen today?
My next stop on my tour of America is Texas. If you're hankering for big, bold flavors, I've got you covered. I went down to Sunset Cantina to get a taste of authentic Tex Mex flavors. Hey guys, I'm standing inside of Sunset Cantina, located on Commonwealth Avenue across from Boston University. In a second, I'm going to go talk to the owner. Mark Kadish about some more of his Tex Mex dishes. Let's go take a look. Thank you for having us here today, sir.
Welcome to Sunset Cantina. Glad you're here.
Okay, so what is Sunset Cantina popular for?
Well, Sunset Cantina, obviously, we're known for a huge tequila and mezcal selection, over 200. We have a really big beer selection compared to most places. We have over 38 beers on tap, all craft and interesting selections. And then, of course, we're known for our fun food, like our signature nachos and all the other kind of stuff that we do here to kind of make for a fun environment.
So I'm here in the kitchen with Mark, and he's about to show us all how to make the famous Tex-Mex nachos of Sunset Cantina.
Yeah, we're going to do a half-size, small portion of the South of the Border Fiesta. We've got a handful of our fresh three-colored nachos. What we do is put a bunch of cheese down first. This is what layers them. Then we put our chili actually on top of the cheese because it sits on better. We spread that all around so everything's covered. Even more nachos. Then we get some jalapenos, tomatoes, scallions, more cheese. You kind of see that we can do this, see the crackling there. In the oven we go with the nacho, and when it comes out, we top it up with all the other toppings. All right, here we go. We're just pulling the nacho out of the oven. We kind of put some nice crunchy lettuce around the edge, fresh guac, a couple of olives, and it's ready to go.
These are the nachos that Mark just made, and they just came out of the oven, so I'm going to go in for a taste because they look delicious. This is absolutely amazing. All the flavors taste so good. I will see you guys back in the studio.
All right, Sharon is now in studio to show us what we can do. Sharon, I'm seeing a lot of real vegetables. That's a sight for sore eyes for a college kid.
We're gonna be doing a lot of real stuff today. Well, guys, inspired by football season, since it's back in swing, we're gonna be making a lot of fun dips that you can make with your friends and share it during halftime, you know. So are you guys ready to get started?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do this. So we're gonna start off with quick queso, which is like a cheese dip. So I want the viewers at home to keep in mind that you should be doing this over a stove. So what you want to start out with is a tablespoon of butter, and you're going to put it on the skillet. Make sure you grease the skillet so that the rest of the recipe doesn't stick to it. And so then after you have that bubbling, you're going to take another tablespoon of cornstarch. And so the butter and the cornstarch is going to blend together. Make sure that's bubbling too. And so after that, you're going to take 3/4 a cup of sour cream. Sour cream makes up most of the queso that we're making. And so after you put the sour cream in the skillet, you're gonna have all of it bubbling, and then you're finally going to add the cheese, of course.
Finally the great finale right here.
You're gonna add a cup of cheese, you know, you gotta be generous with yourself, add a cup of cheese. And so after you add the cheese is bubbling, everything's together. What I like to do is add some milk, because the milk is what makes it creamy. It's what gives it the really nice color. So about a 1/2 cup of milk. And then to top it off, to give it flavor, you want to add salsa. This is a really hot salsa because I like it spicy. I don't know about you guys.
So
but
if I want to, you know, take it down a few notches, I can do mild or medium.
Of course. It's really up to you. Whatever your friends like. You know, football day, I want to get excited, so I'm going to give myself some hot salsa to add to the mix.
I'm with you there, Sharon. I'm with you there.
And so when you're done with the salsa, you're just going to mix it up. And then, so this is our final product. You're going to have the quick queso. And it really doesn't take that long, about 10 minutes, and then you're done.
So that salsa would just go right on top there?
Yeah, you could just mix it in with the cheese while it's bubbling, and it's going to become a part of it. And yeah, it's going to taste awesome.
I feel like my friends would eat that up in 2 seconds, but we have more to cover today. What is going on this side of the table?
All right, this is a lot of fun over here. This is the pico de gallo, which is basically a homemade salsa. So Anthony, can you start out by chopping the tomatoes up for me? Thank you. So we're going to have the tomatoes and cilantro as well. And so Maggie, can you just start picking at the cilantro? Thank you. And so we also have peppers. This is sweet peppers, but like Maggie said before, you could use whatever type of flavor you want, you know, hot, spicy, sweet, whatever's your preference. So we're going to throw that in there.
You also have to trust yourself with a knife. That's kind of scary. Especially for me.
Be careful with that. Be careful. And we also have onions, so you're going to throw the onions in too.
Smells so good.
Yes. No, vegetables can be fun too, guys.
So would I then be adding these tomatoes into the mix, basically?
You're going to throw the tomatoes in too.
Okay. Just gonna go right in there with the hands.
There you go.
How much do you think?
About 2 more.
See, I'm a very
handles.
precise
Yeah.
cooker.
1.5 cups of tomatoes.
My Italian family
to
would
be
tell me that's wrong.
This is great. I love all these fresh ingredients.
Yes, it
absolutely.
smells really good too.
The aromas are
And
awesome.
To top it off, you're just gonna squeeze in the lime juice
All
just
right.
to give it flavor.
Well, this looks
Sounds
amazing, Sharon.
perfect.
Thank you so much for coming in again, showing us the South this time. I can't wait to see what's on next time you're here. That's our show for today.
Next Tuesday, we will not be having a show because of the Columbus Day weekend, but we'll be back on Thursday, so we hope to see you then.
Have a great day.